Hello everyone and welcome. It's time for our daily technical analysis video and let's get right to it. In front of us we have the Bitcoin US dollar 1-day chart and we see that it is a bit of a turbulent day today. So we started the day out pretty decently, trying to break above this resistance right here after breaking out of the bullish consolidation pattern, but we were rejected, which is not that strange because there were a lot of retail people long, which makes it interesting for bigger institutions on a Monday to try and stop them out in a short position. So that is kind of what we've seen here. There's a bit of a move back of about 400 bucks because there's not a lot happening in derivatives and futures. That is about fair for a flush. So now the important thing is that we will keep this trend line as a support and then we can continue onwards and upwards if we have a bit of if we can kind of keep our momentum up. So this is not too bad. Of course, it's not a great look. It does kind of foreshadow the potential for a move down lower. So we have to keep an eye on keeping the 17,000 as a support as well as this trend line right here. Otherwise, we are open to either making a cup and handle, though it's not perfect, or we might just move back down towards the lows here around 16,000. That's kind of what we're looking at. If we do go back down to the 16,000, well, we've talked about it for a while now. We might just break down towards 15,500 in this area, and if that breaks, we will be looking at 15,000 as a last resort and then towards 13 and 12,000. So let's hope it does not come to that, but we have to keep the facts in the chart front and center. So we'll see how we end. We still have 5.5 hours before the day ends. We might just come back. Best case would be if we can close above this 17,200 approximately, let's say. That would be great. Then it wouldn't be too much damage, but we'll see how that works over the coming hours. Here in the 4 hour we see as well and there was a decent run up, and now we've perfectly tested this trend line, so we could move back. We also see that we hit the 200 EMA perfectly with the 4 hour, so a retrace is not at all strange. It is quite healthy, and now we can make another attempt to break it. But we will see. First, we have to make a proper bounce, and we'll see in about an hour and a half how that is going. So let's move over to Ethereum, see how that is doing. My voice is a bit cracked, so I'll probably keep it short, or at least try to keep it short. And here in Ethereum as well, we see that it is kind of having a struggle around this trend line still, because we broke above, didn't quite manage to confirm, broke back down, broke back above. This is kind of a game of jump rope that's currently going on, and for as long as that is going on, I would suggest being very careful around altcoins, because they of course follow Ethereum, and if Ethereum is trying to reclaim a big level, then once that really works out, or doesn't, once the market has chosen a direction to go into, it will probably do so in a violent manner. So it will either shoot up or it will shoot back down, which makes it easy to be caught unaware. So be careful over the next coming, well, let's say day, kind of see where this ends up. If it does manage to break through, then we might just continue onwards toward that 1425, and otherwise towards that 1540 approximately, like we see here. And if we do break down, well, we have this trend line to keep us warm for the moment, but otherwise we'll probably move back towards that 1170 and maybe even all the way back down to 1060. So keep that in mind over the coming days as you look for interesting entries. Let us see. Sand is actually doing decently over the past couple of days. It's doing decently today as well. Let us grab the daily chart. It is currently aiming to break this trend line. Seems to be doing so quite alright. But again, if Ethereum manages to break down, then we'll probably see Sand also move back down below this trend line, just kind of in a similar fashion like we see here, but quicker. Chili's is having a bit of trouble. It does seem to be trying to break through its bullish consolidation, especially in the 4 hour, to the downside, but for now it is still holding, and the volume seems to be going down, which is a decent sign, but we want to see it hold, of course, in order to be able to break upwards. But we shall see. we shall see. Matic is kind of similar as Ethereum at the moment, had a breakdown, had a nice little evening star right here, and is now trying to hold on for dear life. It had a bit more than half of, a bit more than a 50% retrace, so that is fairly steep, giving a decent chance for a move back up if the broader market can recapture itself and continue onwards. That's kind of what we're looking at here, and kind of across the board as well, except for Bone, which is a Shiba token, and that just keeps ripping up as it keeps developing. There has been some news around it, and ever since it's just been going ham. This might actually be, well, I wouldn't say that. This might be interesting of an entry here around that trend line, but it's too extended already, and you see a clear resistance here that it's trying to break through, it's struggling through. So I would probably just let this one be for the moment and wait for a proper correction to get in again if you do so desire. It is actually seeming to be a decent project, so I will be keeping an eye on it. But of course, it is still part of the meme industry in crypto and therefore highly volatile. Link is also making a lower high, showing that it is running out of steam and that we could see significantly lower prices. It is still holding this support right here. If it breaks through, we could move all the way back down towards that 6.7, which would be a decent place to start looking at an entry, but not quite yet. We want to see a breakthrough, and then here we can have a look, and then maybe around that 6.25 we can have another look. That is kind of it for the moment. Short, sweet, to the point. We're kind of waiting to see what Ethereum and Bitcoin are doing, really, because it's a bit of a gray point. 17,600 is a big area of resistance that we have to break through, and that's also just above the 200 EMA and the 4-hour chart. So there's just a lot of things that make it hard for Bitcoin to continue onwards. But we will see. There was also some frightening news from the Bank of International Settlements today, so the markets are a little bit spooked. Anyway, keep calm, keep cool, keep compounding, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.